Hello, everyone. Natalie here. Happy to be with you today to talk about how to gain time as a busy parent to meet your needs and also to be able to meet your children's needs. We are all very busy as parents. We have many roles, all of us, and parenting is one of them. And often we find ourselves in a scramble, being overwhelmed. There's too many things going on. And we also know that when our children's needs are not being met, then they will communicate that. And how do they communicate that is by behaving in a certain way, having tantrums, not listening, or doing things that they normally don't do at school or at home to get our attention. So our role as parent is to meet their needs and also to meet our needs. We all have needs as human beings. So this is what I'm going to share with you today, and keeping an open mind. And what I'm going to teach you is not a secret or something out of the ordinary, but more so how to do what you already know what to do, what you're already perhaps doing in your life, how to merge as you are doing one thing to also then using that moment, that space to attend either to your needs or both to your needs and your children's needs. And that's the only way we're going to gain time, because we all have only 24 hours a day. And I wish I could give you more than 24 hours a day and for myself, but that's unrealistic and something that I can't do. But within the 24 hours that you have, within the responsibilities that you have to attend to every day, how to make sure that your needs are being met and your children's needs are being met at the same time. So finding time as a busy parent to meet your children's needs can be challenging, but definitely possible if you focus and you want to improve that there's a willingness there. So we all have human needs, and our needs are based on three categories of needs: our emotional needs, our physical, and our spiritual needs. And as humans, we all have the same exact needs. That doesn't differ from one person to another, from a child to an adult. The difference is, as a child, the child needs a parent to meet their needs, whereas an adult doesn't need anybody else to meet their needs. And as a matter of fact, can't expect that somebody else can meet their needs. And that's sometimes, as adults, we get into trouble because there's that belief that our partner or our friend or somebody else has to meet our needs for us to be happy. And when we do that, we put that responsibility on somebody else. We're giving that power away. I'm not going to talk about this today because I can go on a tangent and I don't want to. I know you're here to learn how to meet your children's needs as well as yours. So what are the emotional needs? The needs to belong, to be accepted, the need for free expression, being able to express yourself, how you're feeling, the need for validation, that who I am is enough, for instance, the need to be seen by others, the need to be heard, understood, loved, and the need to feel safe. We all have these needs. However, like I mentioned before, in a context of a child, the child needs the validation from parents. The child needs to be seen by the parent or the caregiver. The child needs to be heard, to be accepted, to be understood, to be loved, and to feel like they belong in order to feel safe. When we become an adult, it's a different story. we would like to receive validation from others, and it's nice to receive validation from others, but we have to validate ourselves. We have to see ourselves for who we are. We have to listen to ourselves, understand what we're feeling in any given moment, what we would like, what we don't like, loving ourselves, knowing that we're enough, accepting ourselves for who we are, and feeling that sense of belonging. Then when we feel seen, heard, understood, and we feel good in our own skin. Physical needs, you all know that there's need for safety, physical safety, food, shelter, the need for sleep, for rest, for movement. We need to move as well so that our body can function at its optimum. We all have spiritual needs, the needs to connect with the divine, whatever that means for you, to connect with nature. We're all part of nature. Some of us have a need to pray. Some of us has a need to stay in silence, time for reflection, and receiving guidance from the universe, from the divine, from God, whatever you call it. Journaling can help us to reflect and to receive that guidance when we're writing. There may be some inspiration that comes for us. So those are spiritual needs that we all have. Before I go any further, I'm going to ask you to assess your situation. What's going on with you currently? If you feel like I don't have enough time, my needs are not being met, and I'm really overwhelmed when my children needs me as well. Maybe you have multiple children like I do. And so assess your current situation. Are you taking time daily to recharge? Even if it's 5-10 minutes, are you taking that time? And if you're not, what is the reason? Being honest with yourself. What's the story you tell yourself? And what is the reason you're not taking the time to recharge your batteries? And often when I work with clients, the common thing that comes up is that, oh, my needs are not important, right? They can wait. Others need me more. My kids need me more. So I have to do what I have to do for other people and then put my needs at the end of the list. That's a habit, right? So maybe it's not in your habit to care for yourself because maybe there is a belief that your needs are not as important as other people's needs, and you have to meet other people's needs before you meet yours. That's a tendency that may be happening for you, and that is very common. You're very overwhelmed. You feel disconnected within yourself, feeling kind of lost sometimes, feeling there's a block there, stuck, heavy, or wanting to seek perfection. It's never enough. Whatever you're doing, you feel like, I need to do more, right? In order to feel worthy of taking care of myself. So there are deep-rooted beliefs that are at play, and often these beliefs are acquired from the past. So if you are in this kind of situation, you're really stuck, you're feeling really disconnected and not able to take that next step for yourself, you take some time to recharge on a regular basis, I would say it's probably, or maybe check in with yourself. I don't want to say it's probably, but check in with yourself. Maybe there is a need to seek help here, to help you shift this belief, to help you shift your perception and really understand why you have a tendency, for instance, of putting other people's needs first before you attend to yours, because it's very depleting. And that's where the overwhelm comes. That's where the disconnect happens. So if you need help attending to yourself, feel free to reach out to me. We can have a chat. You don't have to work with me. I'm not forcing you to do that by any means, but just to be able to talk to somebody and getting another perception may help you. So seek the help that you need now instead of waiting and that it becomes a real problem later on. So let's dive right away into, here are some examples on how to gain time. And everything that I'm going, there are 5 of them, 5 steps that you can practice. I want to emphasize that you do it on a microdosing kind of perspective, right? Microdose, meaning little bit at a time. So you get adjusted to it and your mind doesn't say, oh, I don't have 30 minutes a day, or I don't have an hour a day to do this on top of what I already have. So microdosing, do whatever you can and accept that's good enough, whatever you can right now. The first one is to prioritize and plan. And you may have heard this before, but it's important to understand and to identify what matters most for your children's well-being and to make that a priority. And you may say, well, I don't know what matters most to my children, or every single one of them have a different thing, which is true. However, often what our children need is similar to what we need, right? Because they feel whatever we feel. Our environment, and because we are with our children all the time, our children will feed on what is happening at home, what is going on at home. For instance, if there's stress with parents, we've all been there. There are a lot of things that we have to do, that we have to take care of, and we are under some form of stress. Well, guess our children will also feel that stress. And when they feel it, they don't really understand what that is about. They just feel it, right? Something is not quite right. Something is different, and they can't pinpoint it. And that's when they may act out. They may feel that stress and don't know what to do with the stress. So then they'll hit their siblings, or just to release that stress that they're feeling. So if we're seeing behaviors that we don't usually see with our children, that is giving us an indication that what is going on, the question, what is going on with me, and what is going on with my partner, what is going on in the family situation. And if we're feeling a lot of stress, learning how to manage that stress for ourselves is what's going to help us change the vibe in the house, and also being able to acknowledge to your child, yeah, I know how are you feeling, right? Asking him, how are you feeling, first of all? And I know I've been stressed. Are you feeling something like that, right? Are you feeling like something is not right in the house? Depending on their age, you're going to talk to them in a way that they can understand. If they're very little, just by attending to your own stress, changing your environment, that will help them, go back to normal. You don't have to do anything. But if they're a little bit older, maybe there's a need for conversation, and just say, the next few days, I have a lot of things on the go. I may not be as present with you or with anybody else. So understand that that's because mom or dad have to do certain things that are important right now. It's not because we don't want to spend time with you. And we will I will spend more time after these 4 days are over. So if the child is at that level of communication, then this can be communicated. Scheduling dedicated time for activities that nurture their growth and development. So most children has a need for movement, right? Being outdoors, that's a given. Maybe they like story time because that helps them to connect with us. Having meal together where they can express themselves, and again, having connection and communicating with us is important. So if this is important to you as well, making sure that you dedicate some time. And again, microdosing, it can be 15 minutes outdoor doing a movement, walking, gardening, or whatever it is, shooting basketballs, right? Going and exploring in nature, having a meal together doesn't take a lot of time. Story time, 10 minutes before bedtime to connect for young children is plenty, because then they feel that connection and then they feel safe. It meets their needs. And it also is meeting your needs, right? If you go out, you're moving. As adults, we also need physical movement to help us feel good in our bodies. Also, learning how to combine two activities together. Right, so I'm going to give you an example. A lot of us parents have children and they have activities going on, and we're always driving them wherever. Sometimes we have to stay there with them. So, for instance, one of my sons take piano lessons, so I will go and drive him to his piano lesson, and it's in an environment where I can be in nature. So while he's having his piano lesson outside when it's summer, and I can do my work. I have 1 hour, helps me to be outdoors. It's very inspirational for me to do my creative work when I'm outdoors. And so it needs my needs, my need to be outdoors, help me be more creative. And it also helped him to meet his needs for creativity by playing the piano and learning, right? Or if you're dropping your child to an activity, there's a park nearby where you can go for a walk while your child is doing an activity. That helps you then to meet your needs for movement, to be in nature, and to feel good, right? And so, and at the same time, your child, perhaps his or her needs for play is being met. They are with other children, having fun, or learning a skill, whatever the case may be. So prioritize what's important to you and plan it, and combining things to gain the time instead of just being on your phone while you're waiting for your child. Adding an activity, do something that's going to be nurturing for your body. You may draw, doing different things that you like, right? Number 2, set clear boundaries and rules. Establishing boundaries is important for all of us. Otherwise, things can get really out of whack really quickly, especially when we're busy. So boundaries with work, with other commitments, in order to create those quality time for yourself and also for your children. Learning how to say no to non-essential tasks. Learning how to say no if somebody just come to you last minute, unless it's an emergency, then yes, you want to drop everything and help that person. But if it's not an emergency and they're coming to you last minute or for something that needs to be done in a few days, and you've already scheduled your week, you can say no. I can't do that because I've already scheduled something else. You don't have to justify. You know that no is a full answer, right? So not letting last minute things, non-essential things distract from your priorities. Learn and create and communicate your boundaries with your partner and your children, right? So knowing that you can have 15, 20 minutes for yourself. Sometimes if you need that, communicate that boundary. I'm going to be doing something for 20 minutes. And after I'm done, then we can talk and I'm going to come back downstairs or whatever the case may be. That's also teaching your children to create boundaries for themselves, right? To meet their needs, to honor what they need in the moment. If they need space, they can communicate the space. If they need to be by themselves because they are doing an activity that they want to do by themselves, that they can also communicate that. Kids overall like and need rules. You know, when they play, they always have rules, right? If you watch a bunch of kids playing, they always have rules for whatever game they're playing. So rules and boundaries are important, and it really helps our children as well to communicate what are the rules, what are the boundaries. And for instance, for me, a boundary that I have for work with clients is I don't see clients on the weekend. I may be doing something else related to work, but not seeing clients. That's a boundary for me. So no matter how busy you are, you can create a few minutes of downtime, right? Knowing that you have this ability to just take the kids to the park, go for a walk, go outside at least once a day. That is a rule for you. So know what is important to you. If going outside is important, then you may add this in the family activity that every day after dinner, everybody goes outside for a walk, or everybody takes some time, at least having a meal once a day together. That's important. So those are rules that you can set for your family, and as long as you have the buy-in of everyone, they are okay with it, they think it's a good idea as well, then that's a rule that you as a family and your family can follow. Optimizing routines, looking for opportunities to integrate your children's needs into your daily routine. You know, all the things that you have to do in the house, integrating the children, right? We're not forcing them, but we are inviting them to join us to take care of our home. And so children naturally want to help out, but it's in the way we invite them to do so. If we boss them around and we say, do this, that tone of voice and the way we say it is usually you'll see the resistance happening, right? So, for example, what you can do is involve them in meal prep, household chores that needs to be done, and make it like a family activity more so than a chore. So it provides bonding time while things are getting done at the same time. Yeah, so for us, for my family, we've dedicated Friday night, as we call it, contribution time. That's when we contribute to the family by doing something that's going to help organize our environment, clean, and so we all feel good living in this environment. And usually what I've done, my husband has done, is offer, okay, those are the list of things that needs to get done. What would you like to do? And depending on the age, offering them things that they can do. Yeah, so now it's a habit Now we don't question it. Nobody questions it. My kids know Friday night it's dedicated to that. And that's what we do as a family, right? So you can incorporate that for you as well. And this is a great way to teach our children the skills they need to care for themselves, give them the autonomy, that they're capable of doing something like cleaning the bathroom, for instance, they can do that, build their self-confidence, knowing that they can do the laundry, they can fold their laundry, they can take out the garbage, whatever it needs to be done around the house, that they are acquiring those skills that's going to help them later on. And it also gives us the opportunity to validate our children's effort, their help, their accomplishments, which also cultivates their self-esteem, their self-assurance. They feel seen, they feel heard, they feel appreciated, which is what our children need at the end of the day from us parents, from caregivers, so they can continue to learn and continue to do things as they grow, and they're going to be able to do and learn more difficult things as they grow older. If you have babies and you have infants, wear them in a carrier. And while you're doing things like prepping meals or even going for a walk, baby loves feeling the proximity and they feel secure with us. So if we have to prep meals for the afternoon, so we can do it by carrying our babies, they'll be most of the time very content with us carrying them. And I know that's how I actually survived with having 2 children already and having a third one. I had to do things for the other 2, and the only way I could do things is by carrying the younger one when he was a baby. So I'm sure maybe some of you have done this already. If you have a toddler, toddlers love to help out. However, just like a teenager, you don't want to boss a toddler and say, you need to do this or go do this. Instead, it has to be more like, come here. Let's play. Do you want to play? And what you can do is put these cards and put them in the boxes. Rearrange these, I don't know, the cushions on the couch, anything like that. Make it as a form of play. And that way, the toddler would feel like they are not only doing something that feels great for them, it is giving them that sense of agency, but also that they are helping out, they are helping you out, and they feel appreciated and valued. So you want to reflect back to them once they have, finished whatever they were doing, that you really appreciate that. And that's how you're meeting the needs of the children. And I hope it's making sense and you're cluing in. It's nothing out of ordinary, but how when you involve your children, depending on their age, with different things, how there's that possibility and this opportunity to meet their needs, even in those moments. And you're also getting your needs met. You're doing the things you need to do. You feel accomplished, and there's coherence in the family. Number 4 is to unplug and be present, limiting your distractions. Our phone is a big distraction, all form of electronics. So if you are spending time with your children, one-on-one time, it's best to put these distractions to the side, be fully present and engaged, giving them undivided attention, Again, microdosing, 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes of your time. It doesn't have to be an hour of your time. You can give them 10, 15 minutes in the morning if you have toddlers and taking care of them, or infants. You can spend 10, 15 minutes during the day, again in the afternoon, and then again at night, right? So all of that would have accumulated. Maybe you did spend a whole hour of giving them your undivided attention, but it was broken down. And most likely when you are breaking it down as well, it's more feasible for you because you're busy. It's also for the child, it's going to reinforce, yeah, mom is there for me. She's helping me now. And then again, in the middle of the day and in the afternoon. So she's always paying attention to me, right? So it's not the length of time in one go, but doing the microdosing that actually really helps our children. I know it's a tough one to stay present, to put the devices away, but it's a necessary one because our children will copy what we do. And that's tough because I know a lot of us, just like me, on my phone, I have an online business, so I'm always online. And for my children, that will be a tendency. They will see me online, but learning how to disconnect from it at times, putting it away for 10, 15 minutes is what's going to help us model to them also to disconnect from their devices as well. And our dedicated attention shows them that they matter to us, that we care about them, and willingness to connect with them. So that's where when you're doing the microdosing with especially your younger children, it is going to reinforce the fact that you're there, that you are taking the time regularly, consistently to check in with them. Okay. Last one, delegate and ask for help. Don't hesitate to ask your partner, family members, your friends for support. Seek the support, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you need that. Share responsibilities and tasks to create more time for quality interactions with your children. So sharing the task with your partner, and if you have older children or even younger children, like I mentioned, giving them something that they are able to do, and lower your expectations. Yes, they're not going to be able to do things the way you do something, but it's going to meet their needs for their willpower to grow, for them to feel capable, to have agency, to feel that you trust them even to do something. Yeah. So all of that is really important for the child's development, and lowering your expectations. Is it the end of the world that they are not doing it to the level you wanted? If they are actually helping you, what is more important? So questioning that, if there are some strong belief that comes up for you, or you're not capable of lowering that expectation, maybe a good time to address that. So when life gets too much, we need to acknowledge it. We can't run on empty. That doesn't do any good to us. And if we do, it is guaranteed that our children will also feel that emptiness. And often the unfortunate thing is that they will take that on, believing that it's because of them that this is happening. So it's very, very important that we attend to our needs, to be able to attend to our children's needs. Remember, you have to put your mask on first in order to help your child put their mask on. Create special moments. Again, remember, it's not about quantity, but the quality of the time. the microdosing. So if you're remembering anything today that I've shared, if it's resonating with you, microdosing. It doesn't have to be this huge chunk of time that I need to spend with my children. But how can I break that down that it becomes doable, feasible for me and my child, and that I can consistently do it? The consistency of things is very important, right? So that builds trust, and that gives us confidence that we can do it as parents, and also for our children. The consistency builds trust in us, in our ability to care for them, the reassurance they need, feeling safe most of the time, so they can take the risk, they can learn, they can grow, they can become themselves. So this is what I had to share with you today, with how to gain that time. As you saw, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but more so your approach to it and how you can work things, fit things in your schedule, and learning how to do things on a microdosing level and making it acceptable to you and making it enough. When you're spending 10, 15 minutes, that's enough. If that's what you have, making it okay. And when you make it okay, then it'll be okay for everyone. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If this is being insightful for you, feel free to share it with others. Feel free to invite others to join my group, where the intention is to educate, to inform you, to help you maybe see things in a different perspective, so you can parent with more calm and you can keep the connection with your children. And if you need help with anything, again, I'm here. That's what I do. I help parents. So feel free to reach out to me. Take care, everyone. See you soon.